Hey, True Believers, England teen here. It's Monday night. Open topic, if not open mic night, is this. What I'm trying to say is that's today. Yes. So whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we talk about. I've got a few subjects though, because you need something to start things off. And one thing I've seen making the rounds is this Edge of Spider-Verse thing. I don't quite get the attraction of why somebody would want this. At first I thought, okay, well, they're writing another gay Spider-Man. Okay, we've seen it before, and they're making gay characters all over the place. At least this is original. And then I realized, oh, that's what's going on. And it turns out not only is she gay, but she's disabled. So they're running the gauntlet. It's almost like, really?
Well, the other question was, is she really disabled, or is she just faking to being disabled in a wheelchair? Because when you get by Spider, you have the healing factor. So you're telling me that it didn't heal her legs?
Maybe one thing here we go. This is the page that everybody's going nutso about. One thing though, maybe they're actually going there. You can't heal certain, like if certain vertebrae get broken or something, there are certain things you can't heal. If you have brain damage, you ain't healing that. That's why, by the way, Wolverine can't heal from a drop of blood, you dumbasses. Okay, I saw that in a comic book once and it was ridiculous. This is the page that everybody's going nutso about.
You notice that she basically looks like Oracle?
Yeah, I noticed. Oh, by the way, yes, there you go. A gay, disabled Spider-Woman with red hair. What else can we throw in there? What else can we throw in to make her stand out a little bit? Which only means that she's going to be race swapped for the TV show or the movie.
The fact that she's white, I was shocked at that.
That is shocking. That is shocking. Yes.
So even white crippled people are privileged enough to get the spider.
But once again, if she shows up in any movie or TV show, she's going to be swapped.
But the whole Edge of Spider-Verse, it's been is a cash grab. In the very first time they did this, it was a cash grab. The stories were horrible. I flipped through the first two issues, and they threw some of the popular characters, and they threw anime from the your Vowels in there. They threw Spider-Girl in there. Anya, whatever her name is, the Brazilian Spider-Girl, who's been popping up in the Black Widow book that was by Jed McKay or Kelly Thompson, one of the two. And then they threw in Ghost Spider, or AKA Spider-Gwen, in there, trying to boost sales. But the problem is that it's just random individual. It's like basically like, hey, you're new, so is this person. We're going to give them a chance to write a story. And they write the worst stories with the worst art there is. And I just don't understand. I mean, I guess people are just going for the covers.
Maybe. Or the fact that if any of these spider people take off, you have speculation.
It's shooting fish in a barrel, but you have one fish and you can't hit it. That's basically what this is.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say something. I know a lot of people are ragging on this. Here we go. If you're going to do a disabled superhero, that's actually kind of cool. I know we're all supposed to hate on everything, but okay, you know what? We need a disabled superhero. Remember in the New Warriors where we had that girl walking around on the crutches? Why don't we do that? Why don't we make somebody who can't walk? Okay, and in order to incorporate the whole crutches thing, they have her shooting the web out of the crutches. I got to tell you something. Not too shabby. I am not 100% against this.
I mean, I wasn't against Oracle. They did something creative with her. She was. Barbara Gordon was far more interesting as Oracle than she was as Batgirl. But it is funny to see her. It's like, oh, so now we know that this Spider-Girl is disabled because she has her wheelchair strapped to her back, and she's got crutches. Now you don't know what she looks like, but it's like
now. But one thing, what I like the fact it looks like the crutches are strapped to her arm just in case, you know. She's got the spider strength. She's got the spider agility, I assume anyway. I got to tell you, judging by that, it is not a bad use, I should say. I'm not 100% against this.
Also,
I don't
point out this is part of the multiverse, so it's not like taking place in 616 or whatever.
Well, of course, yeah. This isn't like, oh, this is the new Peter Parker or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. This is what I'm against. Let me stop sharing this because it has been mentioned in the comments, but I didn't answer it just because this. I wanted to share out another thing if I can find it. There we go. In the write-up on the Marvel page, whoops, here we go. This is what I really hate. Writer T. Franklin. Now, it's created by Dan Slott, and we all know that everybody loves Dan Slott.
He has a story in there. They're basically there's four stories.
But the writer is T. Franklin.
For this one, yes.
Whom has not written anything good yet.
No.
Now, if they had a fun writer, if they could get somebody, one of the older creators, somebody who actually knows how to write something that's inspiring, then I would say, okay, let's go for it. That actually seems like it's a fun, at least a fun idea.
Who was writing Oracle when she was wasn't she part of the Birds of Prey? Oracle
was part of the Birds of Prey. Gail Simone.
I would get
Gail Simone probably is more Chuck Dixon and Gail Simone, the whole Bat family during No Man's Land. But Gail Simone for Birds of Prey really made Oracle interesting. I don't think T. Franklin is going to make this Spider-Girl.
And this is the problem
to remember.
When you hire people based on their disabilities or their looks to fit a category and expect them to write a story that's better than anybody else. Sorry, Gail Simone wrote a better story.
Well, yeah. Wait, is T. Franklin disabled?
Yeah, I believe so. She's.
Oh my God, Marvel! You racist, bigoted fucking company here.
I'm pretty sure she is.
Say the word. I said fucking. But no, that's that. I think so. I think I heard that she was. If I'm wrong, obviously, please call me out in the chat. But this is their way. Remember, and look, DC did it with Mags Visaggio too. No, you can't have that non-gay character. You got to write you're the gay, so you got to write the gay. And now they're like, hey, we want to do a disabled character. Give it to the disabled person. From now on, you're the disabled person writer. That's exactly what Christopher Priest fought against.
Ashley Comics and I were talking about this last night. We're going over these first two issues, and there's a girl in there. She's Spider UK.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. I'm thinking like, well, we already have a UK. That's the punk guy, So, but yeah, this girl, they made her black. She basically looks like she works for some outfit called Torchwood, battling dragons and monsters. She has the buns, but she also has the dreadlocks in buns, like those little. I was like, what the heck? It's like, choose one hairstyle.
It don't look like it's going to get any better though.
Craven
this is the web weaver. This is the web weaver with the gay seamstress guy coming in. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna go a little positive on this, just a little bit. If they had better writers, this would be something fun.
Also
something to explore.
But
I don't see writers writing this as a fun storyline. I see this as, oh my gosh, we got to preach. We got to tell you how bad you are and tell you how bad we have it.
So you want so basically what I've gathered for the storyline, this whole entire plot, is just to have some evil spider god from multiverse basically wants to corrupt the web, the spider web, which basically holds all the spider realities together. And then after this event's done, it's going to tie into the new Spider-Man #1 with Mark Bagley and Dan Slott. So if you're going to read that crap, you can skip all this. You don't need this at all.
Dan Slott should not be allowed to go near Spider-Man again. As a matter of fact, T. Franklin should not be able to go around comic books again, as far as writing is concerned. Everybody can buy them. They're for everyone. Yeah. There's no such thing as it wasn't made for you, you jackasses who say that.
I'm surprised there wasn't like a sponsor for like the wheelchair brand, company on the actual.
Look, I'm also not mad at that. I saw that in the comments section, and I'm not mad at her. If you're a spider person, you can lift what the Marvel Universe used to say 10 tons was Spider-Man's strength limit. Now it's whatever the comic book needs. But if you can lift 10 tons, putting a 50 to 75 pound wheelchair on your back is not nothing. You're ignoring it.
Here's how I would make this better. She actually had spider parts before this, but she didn't know what she was doing. She was an amateur. She actually broke her back, like Batman broke.
That would have been cool. Yes,
that's how you actually do it. So she still has the powers, but she no longer has the use of her legs.
The weird thing about putting a wheelchair on your back isn't so much the weight as the cumbersomeness of it.
Can you imagine? Because Spider-Man only leaves his civvies in like a little knapsack. You imagine a wheelchair on the side of a building?
How about a scooter with a seat? Just saying, one of those
exoskeleton. Why don't we have that?
Fold down into an exoskeleton.
Literally
with a seat though would actually strap on and not be as cumbersome.
Literally the armor suit that Iron Man made, for Peter and stuff in Civil War.
Yeah,
you could use that. If Batgirl can build herself an exoskeleton suit, so she become Batgirl again.
Walk, yeah.
That was why couldn't
Simone thing.
But see, these people they hire it's not all about that. It's all about his virtue signaling, saying, "Wow, we got a handicapped person there, and she's gay." I'm like, is she also an animal activist? Like, like that's the thing. It's so offensive is that part because that they know they can do better, but they'd rather try to pander to people who aren't reading the books.
Well, not a lot of people are reading any these days, but holy crap, they seem to want to go against.
How many people in wheelchairs are going out and being, you know what, I'm going to buy this book, and then saying, you know what, I really enjoyed this book.
Well, I actually, at the comic shop I go to, there is a gentleman who stops by occasionally when I'm there who is in a wheelchair. But I get what you're saying. There's not a ton, but still, I think it would be kind of, I don't know. I'm not against them doing a disabled character that has super powers.
It's a spot on the nose. It's like the AOC comics. We know what it's all about. You know why you're doing it. It's not cute anymore. It's like, ugh. But I mean, instead of focusing on the Spider-Verse, I mean, I can actually think about it. Spider-Verse all it is basically distract you for how much they ruined Peter Parker's life. That's all it is, a distraction.
If you're talking about a roller or a walker, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like what the kids use now. There's these mopeds? They're motorized scooters, where you, you put your leg on one, you shuffle it, and then you ride for a while, but you got the handlebars. Now they've got a motorized. Put a seat on it, and that's what she carries around. It's not as cumbersome as a wheelchair. Yeah. Let's see. Cartoon comics. Okay, I work with special needs children in NGO. Why not do a good character who has special needs, but she has created an exoskeleton to walk again? That's
nice. Yeah, the exoskeleton. I mean, if you're a person that's never, if you've lost ability to, be on the walk, an exoskeleton is the best thing they've ever come up for people who are disabled who can't walk, or at least So that is cool. Be able to stand up again and actually have that confidence. I mean, that is like there's so much ways they could have done this comic better, but we all know that Marvel would rather make it look like they care, but they don't give a care. They never cared about the original actually not the original, but the second Captain Marvel, the one we like, Monica Rambeau. They never cared about her.
Oh no.
No, it's
oh no. We're gonna bring up Monica Rambeau as well in just a little bit because
it's a facade. That's all it is.
Facade, but yes, that's a great segue into the next chapter of what we're talking about. Once again, guys, this is open topic. So while we're talking, if you have a question or anything, just shout it out. We'll answer, and if we need to go and find an article or something, we'll most definitely do that as well. My whole thing about this Edge of Spider-Verse, once again, I don't care if they made a new character, and this is basically a new character, gay, or I don't care if they made her in a wheelchair. It's a new character.
It is.
That's what I've been saying for a long time. That's what a whole bunch of people going off on this thing has been saying for a god dang long time. And now you're turning right around and you're going, no, this isn't because I don't understand it. I do not understand why you have said so many times, make a new character. And when they do, you're going off on this one too. Look, I get it. There's a lot wrong with Marvel Comics. I would go more off the fact that T. Franklin is writing it than anything else involved. Because under a better writer, under one of the ones that we always praise, this could have been a fun story. This could have been a fun way to explore different spider people of different universes, which is a thing that's opened the doors. Look, I thought it was stupid when that one half spider, half man creature was going from universe to universe, trying to eat all the Spider-Man. I don't remember that story. I don't even remember the name of it.
The other.
It was just freaking crap. I borrowed it from the library and I read it all through. I'm like, God dang.
You could have borrowed my copies that I had. Because I was collecting them no matter what, and I was like, thank God it's ending soon. And
what story was it?
The Other.
It was called The Other. Okay, if I ever get those books for the auction, they're going in. I don't care what.
I don't want them
50
back.
centers or they're 25 centers. I don't know. That is a crap story and a half, but it's part of the canon now. So none of this is new. Gay characters, so long as it's not, they're not saying, hey, Tim Drake's gay now, which is stupid. A disabled character, they did it with the New Warriors. That's not even shit. Daredevil, by the way, is blind, if you guys don't remember. And but they made a new character. It just doesn't compute. The worst thing though is T. Franklin.
They made a new character that's a throwaway character. These are all one-shot characters and never going to come back. Now, I'm 90% sure of that. I'd be shocked if they actually continue this character because she looks so much like freaking Barbara Gordon.
Okay. Let's see. You want a storyline which treats disabled people realistically and how society treats them and how a person feels. Just check out when Tony Stark got shot by Kathy Dare and was paralyzed. There you go. Even with special needs don't want to see themselves as hero in comics. They want to escape reality, says Undead Quinn, which makes sense. All right.
Wait, does it make a hate crime?
Most new characters fail. How many did Stanley? Tons. I'll bet you we could go through many a Jack Kirby Silver Age and Stanley Silver Age and Bronze Age comic book and find a lot of look for every freaking Hammerhead or Scorpion or Rhino. There's like what was his name? The Rocket Racer or whatever.
Yeah.
That nobody gives a shit about.
So get this. If her villain attacks her, takes away her wheelchair, is that considered a hate crime?
Well, she does have her.
She's a disabled hero. How can you not tell a villain's like, dude, I'm not fighting you. I'm not getting canceled.
She does have her spider web shooting crutches.
Yeah.
Let's see. Seems now if you make a new character, you have to love it. I don't think so. But don't be disingenuous about things. No. I didn't say I love this character, but hey, it's new.
There's ways, like I said,
you gotta admit that if you've been screaming and yelling for a new character, don't talk about this like it's not a new character. It's written by T. Franklin. Does anybody have any faith that T. Franklin's going to write a good character? No, but at least I will.
She's got something there, but if they could, someone else who's better at writing stuff, talents can actually make it more sense out of it. Marvel would actually have a better hit. But problem is that they make it, but it's so on the nose as far as she's gay, she's she's handicapped.
Yeah.
Okay,
what else
that's cool. What else? But tell me something about her that's interesting. They can't.
Well, that's how they sell it, right? Let me see what does it say here. Spider Ham, Spider-Mobile, Sun Spider, Spintress. You know the first two, but you may not remember the amazing Sun Spider who debuted in 2020 Spider-Verse miniseries. as a winner of our Spider Sona contest. She gets her own story here. Okay, so this is even an old character. And Spintress is a brand new spider princess who sings, talks to a spider, and kicks the villain's butt. And the writer of the Broadway smash hit Come From Away. All righty. There you go. I don't know which one is which. She is, all it says is, this is the Amazing Sun Spider, right?
I the one that's handicapped. I have no idea what her name is supposed to be, but now they can officially say she swings both ways.
Okay.
Because up to this point, there hasn't been a gay spider.
Well, I'll tell you what. There is something else I wanted to talk about.
Well, I take it back. Ultimate Universe had a female clone of Peter Parker. That was a lesbian.
Now, there was another article that was shared earlier today that I looked at that, once again, I don't agree with what was said about it, but oh my gosh, why? Oh, okay, let me share this out. Turns out that they found, let me find it, breasts are my favorite things. That was shared out by LK, apparently making fun of the fact that they have a graphic novel called that.
Oh,
here it is.
Did you do the Green Lantern thing?
No, Fantastic Four number 46.
Oh.
Reed Richards finally meets his match. Written by Dan Slott. Wow, Dan Slott just shits all over Marvel, and they are like, they smile and say, "Give me more, baby."
Is this an alternate universe? I'm guessing.
No, this is it.
Because remember, he met his like Nathaniel Richards and all that stuff through the multiverse.
And this is his sister through her. Okay, Reed Richards meets his half sister in the previews of Fantastic Four number 46. Of course, she's been expecting him. Great. Now there's two of them. Okay, here we go. Family first. Not a dream, not a hoax. This is real. Thanks to the knowledge of the Watchers, the lost daughter of Nathaniel Richards has been found. It's time to finally meet the mysterious sister of Reed Richards. But is it time to welcome her into the family? It's a day of amazing adventures, both in her world and in the world of the Fantastic Four, guest starring Namor, King of Atlantis, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? So we go on and we meet this lady right here. Can I? Yeah, there we go. Okay. This is Reed Richards' sister. This is where I wanted to bring up Captain Marvel, because as soon as I saw her, I thought of Monica Rambeau.
Same hairstyle?
Well, no. Let me finish, and then we'll jump on, okay? I did a video. Please go check it out. All you got to do is type in Monica Rambeau when you get to my page. And I did this video, one of the most popular on the channel, where I talk about the racist treatment of Monica Rambeau by Marvel Comics. And one of the things I mentioned is how Monica Rambeau has been whitened up. If you look at her very first appearance, she's got the 1970s Pam Grier, or early 80s Pam Grier hairstyle. She is drawn dark. She is a black woman. No denying. But over the years, she'd been same as Storm, by the way. Go look at what Storm used to look like, except for, of course, she had the white hair. But look at her skin tone versus what they do now. The last image I saw of Monica Rambeau, I'm sure there's new ones since because of the movie. It was literally just a brown Greg Land tracing, you know, this one. But here's what Monica Rambeau should look like. Dark skin, black woman. Boom. And who do they draw as the dark-skinned black woman? The woman who's half white. Just saying. Nothing wrong with it, except for what we get. She really comes off as a bad character anymore. Because we live in a world where one night there's a moon in the sky and the next it's gone, not hidden behind clouds torn from the heavens. And a few nights later, it's back now. Half the people are out there celebrating, and the other half are treating it like it never even happened, but not to us. And why is that? And the dude says, because we know that actions have consequences, Professor, ripple effects. Exactly. 4 straight days without tides, and now they've returned. God only knows what damage has been done. And she says, well, let's see what us mere mortals can do first, Jimmy. So I'm reading this. I'm like, okay, not bad, not bad. It starts with the plankton, tiny drifters in the on the tide. If they return to their regular paths of migration, the rest of the food chain will follow. And they're looking at their data, and then, of course, a spaceship arrives, which is How do I get out of this? There we go.
There's a handgun in your door. In your dresser door, there's a handgun right there.
Yeah, I was looking how to. Okay, so Reed Richards shows up, right? This is the guy from the Fantastic Four. She's nonplussed. He's a celebrity. He's big, and she's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Professor Joanne Jeffers, world-renowned eco warrior, marine biologist. I'm a huge fan. I'm Reed Richards. I think it's time we met. And she goes, I'm the son of Nathaniel Richards and leader of the Fantastic Four, but there's more to it. You see, I'm my half-brother. I was wondering when you'd show up. And he says, well, I only learned that recently. If you have some time, I was hoping we could go somewhere to talk. She goes, I could give you 4 hours. Once again, the brother she just met. That's going to be very important in just a couple of panels. With the choppier spaceship cause, it'll take that long for the sea life around here to settle. All right, Mr. Fantastic. Where are we rocketing to now? Wakanda, Mars, a negative zone. He says, I think I'd like to take you to what I consider to be the very heart of the universe. And of course, he's talking about taking her to meet the rest of the family. Okay. He says, Professor Jeffers, allow me to introduce you to Sue, my wife. And Sue says, Joanna, it's so nice to finally meet you. For months, we've only seen you as part of a holographic image. And she says exactly this. And you waited months to look me up? You freaking conceited bitch.
I mean, they're off saving the world in other dimensions.
Hold on just a second. She literally said before Reed Richards did that he was her half-brother. Did she ever look him up? She knows where he is a lot better than he knows where she is, because they're the fucking Fantastic Four in that big-ass Baxter building in the middle of New York. So go yourself. You conceded. Go back to talk to your fish. Go and talk to your fish. That's what she should be saying right now, but Sue looks all worried. Oh, the first free second we had there were alien invasions, clones. We had to save the multiverse. No, it's go back to your seafood freaking restaurant. Me and Reed are fine without you. Bye. And there's been a problem with my brother. So no news from the Spire. But the Overseer feels confident that thanks to your research, a breakthrough could come someday. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up also is that one of the things a lot of people are saying about it is that I did not share that at all, did I?
No.
I thought I was sharing.
You shared the photos, yeah, but you
okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the one reason I wanted to bring it up is a lot of people are saying, oh, and they wrote her more intelligent than Reed Richards, which, let's face it, every freaking character in the Marvel universe is now more intelligent than Reed Richards.
Well, except for Tony Stark.
It is, yeah, right, yeah, because he's right there at the retard table. It's ridiculous. But no, I don't read that as she's more intelligent.
I read it as she's slightly low-key jealous that she lived in a poverty, probably had to work her way up because she's black, and she was too prideful, just like Reed gets too prideful to make the first move. Then again, the dad. This isn't the first time they've had like people pop up, like even his dad popping up back in the day, those were the 90s or late 80s. Is all I look at is this part is that the reason they Slott did this because he's leaving the book.
Yeah.
So he basically wants to leave a mess for the next person to clean up. He's gonna say, you know what? Of all the things I've done in this. He's like, oh crap! I better leave a SJW virtue signal before I leave. Crap.
Well, maybe that's the case, but
I'd have to ask Zach though, because Zach's been the one that's been reading this.
Zach's been reading it.
Yeah, and the guy, and the person who's writing Savage Avengers is supposed to be taking over this book.
We might get to a Savage Avengers in just a little bit, but this is something like when I read it, I was like, first of all, I don't see her as being more intelligent. She's definitely more conceited.
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
But not more intelligent. She just had the information first. You know, that's all that happened. She knew who she was. And the worst of it is that she knew who she was and then chastised Reed and Sue for not coming and finding her. It's ridiculously bad. It's horribly bad writing on Dan Slott's part. I know Dan Slott can write these. I want to now go check out I know you're doing it over at Geeky Puppet Show. The Dan Slott writing in She-Hulk, because I really like that. But do I anymore? It's like the Tom King thing. Everybody was praising Omega Men and the Vision and Grayson, and then the first half of Mr. Miracle. By the second half, he screwed things up, and everybody hated it, to the point where I've been asked, has Tom King ever been good? I don't know. Maybe Dan Slott was never good.
I've only read 2 issues by Tom King. That's all I've ever read. Actually, no, take it back. I read 1 issue of Rorschach, or whatever it's called.
Rorschach.
Yeah, Rorschach. And then I read 2 issues of his Batman run, and I noped out on all of them. So I said nope. So then again, maybe there is a good book. But once I read something by somebody that I don't like their work, I gave them 2 different books, I kind of lose my faith and interest in just reading anything else by them. That being said, check out better writers like Ram V.
Well, I would not say like Frank Miller isn't a bad writer, even though he hasn't done anything good in the last 20 years. But I would never say he's a bad writer, because the first 20 years he made up. He laid his groundwork for me to call him a great comic book writer until the day he dies. Even though, like I said, for the last 20 years, once he went into Sin City, he never came out. Let's face it. He writes every character as if they're in Sin City.
I think you said Dan Slott, you liked his Fantastic Four run.
For a while, I didn't read. I haven't read all of it. I haven't read this issue. I read like the first 12.
To be fair, I liked the first
and
6.
I liked it.
The first 6 or 8 issues of the Fantastic Four when he took over. I thought it was okay. But that's coming from someone who never read Fantastic Four at all before.
I like Dan Slott's run. The last issue I remember reading was the Incredible Hulk and the Thing fighting before the Thing's wedding or something like that.
Yeah, that's where I was, right around there. But if anything, my opinion on Dan Slott being a good writer, a bad writer, I haven't. This sounds very bad. This sounds like he just kind of decided, like, oh crap, you know what? I don't want to get canceled, so I better say something because I forgot to do it. Virtue signal. Because I've been hearing from Zach is that he's been enjoying the books. Zach will not really read a lot of bad books, but I'll read some that some people just can't stand because they may have 1 or 2 things they don't like about it. But yeah, I can't trash him for being a crappy writer, but I will say he's a shitty person.
Oh, Dan Slott?
That's the thing for Dan Slott. He's a shitty person, but if this does look bad. Now that being said, people who read the original Fantastic Four love that. Maybe reading his stuff will find his work trash compared to the original.
Well, obviously through Jimmy Quirks, something happened with me. Captain Frugal, by the way, has experience with Dan Slott being a crappy human. He really is not a good guy. He really isn't. Even to defend somebody else who I don't have, there's no love lost between the two of us. Dan Slott went on to Ethan Van Sciver's channel to do an interview. The interview went fine. I watched it. And then the day after, or 2 days after, he asked Ethan to take it off because he realized, his fans are toxic and all that kind of crap. So Dan Slott has never actually been a decent fellow, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because it is my opinion because he is proven to not be a decent fellow many, many times over. So in a disguise bringing, because a lot of diversity characters are badly written, I noticed a trend, by the way, that if you give a diversity character to a person who belongs to their group, they're written incredibly poor. It's like they're almost afraid to challenge the character.
Well, yeah, they gave Megs the gay characters and all. It's like, what? It's like how this blatantly rude is that? It's like, oh, you're in a wheelchair, you can only write wheelchair characters from now on. It's or you're gay, you can only write gay characters. Let the straight guys write the straight guys. And it's like, no. If someone, I don't care if you're gay, straight, or wheelchair or not. If you can write better than the other person, you are going to get that. That's how you get the job. But unfortunately, that's not how Marvel and DC work anymore.
One of the worst examples, of course, is John Ridley with the other history of the DC universe. It was incredibly bad. It was very stereotypical. Obviously he tears Asians a new one by writing Katana He tears Hispanics a new one by writing Renee Montoya. And also he really just kind of breaks Black people apart and makes Black Lightning the angry Black man. Like there's no other personality trait of Black Lightning in that book other than he's an angry Black man. I don't even know how to describe how he wrote Bumblebee and Mal, except for, I don't know, privileged. Because at every turn they're saying, well, the white people got this, we got none of it. And look, there's some truth to that, because Bumblebee didn't get really popular until the 2010s. Mal's never been popular. So there is some truth to the fact that these characters didn't take off, and the white characters in the Teen Titans, they all enjoyed their popularity at some point in time. At this point, the only character who hasn't really enjoyed any popularity is Mal. But look how they drew him. Look how they wrote him. He always had this, like, the most boring of costumes. Bumblebee, at least, has the Bumblebee costume and the tuna. Just saying.
I'd say Cyborg took off from the Teen Titans, you know.
Well, that's the new Teen Titans. I'm talking about the original.
Oh, the original.
Yeah.
Even the new Teen Titans, I didn't care for Jericho. I thought he was a boring character.
Okay. Let's see. That's unfortunately the fact that characters are so bad. The writing is very, very bad. We could have had good characters and no one would complain. That is true. If they took time to make a character beyond the statistic, oh, they're gay. Oh, okay, they're crippled. And that's it. Like Venkman said, name something interesting about them.
Yep.
Because that's what the writers think. The most interesting about them is that they like someone of the same sex and they can't use their legs. That's it.
It's like running up. It's like you're running a pamphlet for, like, you know, for all the disabled kids. Don't worry, we're gonna create a disabled hero for you, so you can watch disabled cartoons. And I think it was In Disguise or or it was a cartoon. One of those guys. They said that, like, most kids that are in wheelchairs want to be Iron Man. They want to be someone who's not a paraplegic. They want to be someone who's just, you know, normal. Like, they want to escape reality. That's what they want to do. Not reminded that go ahead.
Cartoon Comics saying, who complained about Bane or the second Azrael? He's Black Haitian. No one complained about him. That's right. We complained about the first Azrael a bunch. We complained about that little loser whiner character so freaking much, a hell of a lot more than when they fixed him and they put the black guy in there. The original Azrael pissed people off. Don't think that he was a well-loved character. Like right now, we can look back and go, okay, yeah, I kind of enjoy it now. It's fine. But when it was happening, people hated Azrael, not the black character when they fixed him. The little whiny white kid.
So my question, these characters that never took off, is it because of bad writing? They were just background characters, never got any actual attention.
Like whom?
On the Titans, like you're talking about
Mal and Bumblebee. Yeah. I think they were very much, I think, just written poorly, and
they were
not given too much personality. And unfortunately, I will put some. I don't think it was racism, because I don't think anybody wrote them with malicious intent. But no, it was a bit of like if you ever read the original Power Man issues, where you've got a white guy trying to write black jive, and it just doesn't fit a little bit. But it's fun, it's funny, but there's just a little something off. I'm not saying racist, just a little off. You know, it's like the Hey Fellow Kids of racial writing, I guess.
You had the villain Mace. The guy actually had a mace on his arm trying to kill Luke Cage. And it's just
such a fun book. I love Power Man. I've been collecting the essentials. Let's see. How would you fix Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four? Okay. How could I fix? You know what? That's a whole video.
And it starts
how to fix Spider-Man. How to fix Fantastic Four. The short of Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's become too famous. I mean, I know it's Spider-Man. Bear with me just a second, because I don't know if I said that right. Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man is a struggling Spider-Man. And granted, at this point in time, he should be a little bit older. He should be making his own money. He should be married to Mary Jane. We all know this. So maybe things should be looking up. But what he shouldn't be is a jet set member of the Avengers. Just shouldn't. He's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So we got to put him back in the neighborhood. He's got to deal with more personal stories rather than world destroying stories. I would bring back, and this is for everyone. This is something I would do across the Marvel line. I would separate it for a while, and that doesn't mean you can't have your big stories within the series. You know, Fantastic Four has a crisis, X-Men have a crisis. That's fine, but I would make sure that everybody knew the people who surround the main character, the main hero. And by the way, the people who surround the main hero wouldn't be superheroes. They've lost something. Mary Jane is not a sneak thief running around with Black Cat. She shouldn't be putting on a costume and rushing out and doing doing other things. She is a supporting character. That doesn't mean she's an uninteresting one. And I think that's where the feminists get it wrong. They think that a woman being a woman is uninteresting, which is, in my opinion, incredibly not feminist. So I would definitely, with Spider-Man, I would bring him back to the neighborhood, and I would make sure that his relationships were well defined. Same with Fantastic Four. I would have to kind of bring it down a little bit. Let's meet the family. Okay, we know what the family can do. We know he stretches, she turns invisible, and he sets himself on fire, and the other one's a rock. Okay, fine, go. That's great. I don't think that it needs to be a world stopper all the time. I think, once again, I would just kind of, for a while, this is what I would do with the Marvel Universe. I would just condense it, make it so the stories are this big instead of this big. So you got to know the characters and you got to love the characters again, because right now there's nothing to love. In DC Comics, you can even go over there in the fact that for the last 10 years, since 2011 with the New 52, all they've been doing is deconstructing their heroes, never giving them time to build up, except for a couple of different situations. Superman by Tomasi, Aquaman by Dan Abnett, and even Hawkman by, oh my gosh, help me out.
Venditti.
Thank you. Robert Venditti. They've given time for those characters to breathe. Joshua Williams with The Flash.
Yep, and Jeremy Adams continued with it.
But then they kind of crashed the car, and they made it all about the super and not the man. World's Finest
has been great too, Trevia. By guy everybody hates.
and then, of course, they went from that to, as that Scottish drunk guy says, The Message, which, you know, he just made it sound good. We've been saying that forever. Now they don't even care about the stories. They don't care about the character. They just care that you suck. And by God, they're going to point out why and how you suck.
All right, so
and they got it, and that's another way I would help both characters and everything in Marvel and DC. Drop that shit.
How to fix Marvel? Just say that what you've been reading now is not the main Earth.
Well, yeah, they've opened that up. I would crisis on Infinite Earths.
I would just say that what we thought was 616 turns out we've been reading 617. Well, so the event where Peter Parker and all that stuff, One More Day and all that crap, Civil War, happened on a different planet, different Earth.
But by the way, that's why Feige is full of shit. It's not the 616. I think, oh no, ours is just a different version of the 616. That's why it's not the 616, you freaking balding ape. Come on. And I'm bald, and I'm calling you that.
But no, because that way you can at least keep everything. You don't have to say like, oh, he woke up from a dream and Spider-Man's, oh, everything's back to normal. No, all you got to say is like reintroducing, what you thought was actually those time was actually a whole different Earth. We're not 616. the main continuity is 616. You've been watching or reading 617 or 619, whatever. So you could go back and pivot from that one point. Yes, and I said pivot. Think of Ross when you hear that. Pivot.
I
Pivot.
wonder how many like, okay, here we go. I get to run my version of the Marvel Universe versus CB Cebulski and his.
Yep.
We can pick our own we can pick our own dream teams. Let him have his T Franklins and his Teeny Howards and all that. I'm going to say and if it's a dream team and I could just recruit whoever I wanted, I'm bringing back Chuck Dixon. I'm going to bring in the Icon crew. Why not? Let's bring in Tim Lim, Mark, and Doug. Let's see what they could do. I'll throw in. I got a couple of ideas for some characters. I would love to bring back just for a little bit. Hey, guess what? Chris Claremont, you were kicked off in comics in the 90s. Let's see what you got. You bring any of that woke shit in, you're done. I will guarantee you that I would kick CB Cebulski's ass being an editor on these things.
You continue with the Claremont with him and X-Men doing his X-Men. You start from there and you continue and you keep the same. You don't update to modern stuff like it is like now 2022. Keep it there from the 80s, going through the same technology, and just do that. That's all you really got to do. I mean, if you wanted to update it, have the smartphone stuff. To me, I think that's a cop out for people who can't write.
Make Peter a father and a teacher, making him and MJ a couple. Also have Miles being the urban Spider-Man. We need one of those. Also give some things to Jessica Drew to do already. Wouldn't that be nice? I like the idea. See, Jessica Drew at this point would also have to be a friendly neighborhood spider. They could have different different neighborhoods. Not everybody has to live in New York, but she would have to be a friendly neighborhood because first and foremost, Jessica Drew would be a mother. She had her kid. She's got a child, and I'll guarantee you that she cares more about that baby than running around in a freaking spandex outfit. At least if you want to write her like a mom. Marvel and DC need to prune their lines by 90% so that they can focus on writing stories instead of killing trees with garbage tier stories. That would be nice. They also need to prune the people who are writing and drawing them.
Also, in my universe, I would basically do what Sony did with as far as the video game they did company for Spider-Man. Introduce Miles that way, and Miles is being being mentored by Peter Parker. Do the events like that. You can bring it in and give him. Don't call him Spider-Man. I would not call him Spider-Man in my universe. I would give him something else. You may hate Kid Interacted, but eventually he could probably think of a better name eventually on once he grows out of that.
And once again, there are no bad characters. There's only bad writers. By the way, Ethereal and Into Disguise. I know it was when I was saying that Scottish guy, I wasn't doing it because of my bad memory this time. I was just saying that I actually watched The Critical Drinker. I like him. Let's see. They already did that in the movies because the movie main universe used to be Universe 1999. Yeah, it's not. I did the same thing. It's not the 616. I actually said it out loud, and the people beside me just looked at me weird.
Also, I would not let Dan Slott write anything in my universe, my Marvel universe, because he would not be part of the Dream Team. No. He already proved in this Edge of Spider-Verse, saying that there was a Spider-Man before Peter Parker. There was one in the 1800s.
Also,
bullshit.
Here's something I would like to see, and I don't think it would ever happen. I would like to see auditions.
Yeah.
In all honesty, look, prove to me why you deserve this. You don't deserve to write the Fantastic Four because your name's Dan Slott. You don't deserve to write Spider-Man. Bring to me a good story. I want to know that I know there would be a lot of writers that would be like, you, I don't audition. But why? Why do you deserve? Pitch that story hard, because I'm not giving out free stuff. And look, I'm not saying every pitch is accepted. It's not. People do that all the time. Hey, I've got an idea for this. We saw it with the Mags Visaggio. I know others have done this. I've got I have an idea, and they come up and they go, no, but you can do this, because Marvel already had something up their sleeve.
I was reading
I think it would be, I would like to see the comic book conventions a little bit go back to what they were, where new talent can come in and show their stuff. Also, if I were running Marvel and DC, I would try, okay, maybe we can't, maybe, okay, since the comics aren't selling well right now, we don't have upfront money. So I would put it on the back end, kind of like the movies do, where, okay, we will pay you this much, but we'll also give you like 5 or 10% of the back end. So if you're the artist, you're the writer, you get a certain amount. If you're the inker, you're the letterer, you get a certain amount to make sure that people are putting their best foot forward.
I would bring back some of these writers and the ones that are retired now. They don't have working for them, like Chuck Dixon. Make them editors. Let them actually oversee, you know, and so actually people are actually held to an actual standard. You know, I agree with you. Bringing back the mass editions, and that reminds me of the story of Jim Lee. How he went to basically had to go to Comic-Con to submit his art. He said he submitted like over 200 times, and he kept getting rejected by Marvel and DC. It wasn't until he actually went to Comic-Con, and then one of the guys there got his foot in the door for him. And none of this Tumblr art. I actually want people who actually can draw. You know, same with writers. Do you remember for the actors they had those mass editions they'd have in the mall? If they're casting calls, they'd have there in the mall. Michael Dudikoff. That's how he got the American Ninja. Out of like 400 people, they chose that one guy because he had what they were looking for. You know what? It sucks because, you know, people got to do work, expect to do work today. But Marvel, if you actually, you know, just quit being lazy, did the work, you could probably bring back, you know, someone like Jim Shooter in the same sense, personnel, someone who actually understands the business. And God, I say it, someone like Trump who actually wants to make money and let them do the job and don't question them. But they're not in the business of making money anymore. They're in the business of basically like being a fake company. They're clickbait. They're the people on Tinder that are trying to scam you on the money. Like, hey, you want to go on a date? You're getting catfish, and then you find out it's a guy already there to beat you up and take your money. That's what Marvel and DC are slowly turning into.
Ethereal Dragon to stop with the retcons. That would be nice. I don't want to see Ghostmaker in a Batman book anymore. I'm tired of that kind of thing where at this point in time, the Batman's history has been laid out. So adding oh no, he was somebody you didn't know about. No, bullshit. And if it's somebody you didn't know about, it would have to be a day within what has already been laid out. So it's not going to be a Ghostmaker. It's not going to be somebody who, we should have been crime fighting all the time. Worst fucking character created in a long damn time.
I agree with MARANYA. Nope. Get the creative team off the cover. Put them on the interior. You have to actually look to see who they're actually writing. You have to open the book because a lot of people will not pick a book because it's Mark Waid.
Yeah.
World's Finest. If you had no idea who it was and it was advertised, somebody said you went to go pick it up, you picked it up. Oh, cool! It's the World's Finest. You're gonna pick it up 9 times out of 10, and actually you may look inside. Oh, it's Mark Waid, but at least you actually picked the book up and actually looked at it. Because I hate when people judge it because not by the talent, but maybe because they don't like a certain person what they've said online. That's another thing. Get rid of Twitter. No more Twitter for writers or artists.
Oh, I was going to do this as a video. As a matter of fact, I had everything lined up. I was just about to hit record and went, oh my gosh, it's Monday. I got to do a show. Batman's not gay in that issue, guys. He's not gay. I read it. I've seen it. Tristan, you're wrong.
It's worded. Make it
Wes,
look like it.
You're wrong. Batman wasn't gay in that Night issue. I read it. There's one page where it says, wait a second, I had it pulled up because I was I said I was let me read this off.
All right.
You've come to me in hopes I'd help you turn into a sociopath, but you're still just a little boy who lost his parents, his heart too big for this world, full of fear and rage and doomed to love. His heart breaking, him losing his heart is because of his parents there, guys. I'm not interested in losing my humanity. I just can't afford distractions. I can't afford. And this is a guy who's trying to play mind games. It didn't work, so he goes for another direction. You can't afford to let him stop you, the one who walks the same path as you, but freed of your moral constraints. And Bruce says, how did you know about... I gather knowledge. It's what I do. I know all about this little ghost that broke your heart. So here's the thing. I heard that Tristan called it gay coding, and that's the best you can go with, because at some point in time, Vita Ayala will grab onto that and say, yes, he's gay. And it's going to be way off. There's 9 pages before that page explaining how they are friends. And Anton is deciding to choose a worse path than him. And through that, he broke his heart. It is A-okay. I'm going to say this because comic book writers don't seem to understand this. It is okay for guys to be friends. And in this case, that's all it was. It's like, a friend. A friend broke his heart by going a path that will, at one point in time, put them two at odds with each other.
Obi-Wan, Anakin.
Yeah. Yeah. Anakin broke Obi-Wan's heart. So,
but yes, it is. You can say if out of context, it does look coded, but if you're not reading the book,
a dumbass modern writer will look at it and probably go, "Hey, we can make him gay through this."
But like I said, they were two friends. You know, they actually met. They're competing. Anton actually is bisexual or whatever in that book, but Bruce isn't.
Gay.
Bruce played on that in that previous issue in order to steal the ledger. He outfoxed him.
That was an earlier issue.
The early issue, like issue 4 or something like that. But then this issue, yes, Anton actually has been basically harassing him throughout this, and Bruce doesn't believe in killing. That's the one thing he's trying to be a better person. But I don't know. It's just, to me, this is like taking things out of context. Wes posted the on his video. He did a video. I have no ill or hatred towards Wes, but I said in the comment sections, like, you've only showed the 2 pages. You haven't showed anything else of this. For a lot of people who haven't already been reading the book, it's real easy to come to this conclusion. Wow. But I said, I told him I'm not going to judge something on a panel because I don't know the full context.
Yeah, they were way off on that.
But I mean, I respect people who see it as a coded winner like that. If you want to, that's your decision. I don't see it that way.
I'll tell you what, and I'm not kidding. Vita Ayala or Steve Orland, somebody along those lines, grabs a hold of that one line. I absolutely can see them as going, well, that's the reason why.
Rawhide Breen's here.
Yeah. Hello to Eric Breen.
Hey, Eric. Hey.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I read the book. I read the first few issues. I thought it was okay, and I just stopped. It just it really wasn't. But in all honesty, actually, no, that's not the reason. If I'm being honest, I stopped because I lost the book. I couldn't tell which one was which, because it's like what, Batman the Night, Batman
Urban Legends,
Batman
Killing Time.
There are so many. Yeah, Killing Time. There's so many different Batman miniseries. I actually lost the book. I didn't know which one I was looking at anymore. So I know that just kind of plays into the whole I'm losing my freaking mind and memory and everything. But that is the truth. I went into the comic shop. I was like, fuck it. And I went to the stack of freaking books that they were holding for me, and I got rid of all the Batman.
So this is my theory why they made this book, is to explain to basically who Anton is. Because we got a brief, with it was not Josh Williamson, it was Tynan. They introduced Ghostmaker. We had a small flashback where he was telling Robin. Now this is supposed to be like how he met Anton and they went different paths. So that's why Anton is basically Ghostmaker at the end of this series. It's going to be 10 issues. This was issue 8 that came out, but they introduced Raish or Raza's Go, whatever you would prefer, at the end of this. Basically offer them a spot, the League of Assassins.
Yeah. Eric's saying, in Wes's defense, everyone's defense, at DC in 2022, the odds are better that a character is gay than not.
True.
Unfortunately, way too true. My first thought when I saw Wes's video, I was like, well, or I saw his thumbnail. I said, well, that's all of them. And then I watched, I read the book, and then I watched Wes's video. I'm like, nah, dude, you're off on this one. This one you're just a little bit off on.
Tehillim, I understand that, but when I can read a book from Marvel or DC where they forget that a character's nationality, like they did the Stiletto, that was in the, it was at Venom, Lethal Protector, issue 4. They turned him so he's black. Issue 5, he's back being white and blonde. So I don't trust editorials as far as, and plus, remember, people retcon things all the time, so. I mean, why would he call him a little ghost thing? You're a little ghost lover if they're not implying it's Anton. Now maybe it's just there to basically like create drama. Like you said, like maybe bad publicity is good publicity for them. They think that they're backwards thinking because God forbid they've done a lot of backwards crap with DC right now. They're still copying Marvel's bad ideas.
Hey, opinionated junkie, how you doing, man? Yeah. So anywho, I like the retconning Ra's al Ghul to be a part of Bruce's origin is absolutely ridiculous. Man, get in the chat. Why are you on the outside of the chat?
That's the thing. He's like he'd rather just fire shots from a distance. It's like
Eric Breen, come on in. By the way, speaking of Eric Breen and RDV and Maranya, I brought back credits. It's like I started doing videos. I cut up a couple of videos from the chat me and Zach had, and I'm going to add on the credits for those of you who've been around. I always used to do this a live audience joke and then just have the credits for everybody who was Patreon. Instead of doing that, I figured I just want to thank you guys after every video because you are the ones who have supported. At the end of this, of course, because I've got basically the England team first with Maranya, then Eric, then Venkman, Zach, so forth, so on, all the way down, and then all of you guys. I know I've forgotten a couple of names, so if you look at that credits list, and I do ask you, please go check out my videos. If you're not on the credits list, let me know. I want to put you there. I want to include everybody. I'm seeing a couple of names I forgot, but
for those
and Emerald Centurion and Undead Quinn need to go.
For the names you can't remember, you'll just be and friends.
And friends, yes. I got to put that at the end of the next one. I forgot about that. I forgot about that in the live audience joke on the first couple.
Just leave Pixel out and just say and friends.
I used to do silly like this video was filmed by a live studio audience. This video was filmed by a live studio audience now drowning in the Pacific Ocean. It's just, just kind of silly and stuff. But if you notice your name is not there and you've been around for a while, by all means, let me know. I saw the credits for today's Tom King video and I had happy tears. Thank you. Well, thank you, Maranya. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for supporting the channel. And thank you to Maranya, Eric, RDV, Zach, Dalton, and so many more for being part of the team, the England team. Who came up with that? Because I know I'm not clever enough for that. Somebody came up with that and it was awesome, and I used it. Me personally, I'll still buy the old stuff from Marvel and DC. Me too. I love to get the Marvel Essentials and the showcase. Unfortunately, they're pricing themselves out, though. There are some of those things that are worth $80 or $90 now. Hey, Eric, back issue, Breen, sir. How are you doing?
I was trying to clean up a little bit around here. I've almost got to where I can see the couch that I sit on.
You showed a picture. Is that on the other side of you? Is that why you can find a comic always? Because you have a gajillion comic book boxes near you?
That's less than a fifth of the boxes in this room.
Wow.
And I wasn't kidding. There's a couch behind that mess.
Eric showed us a picture of his room, and this is an episode of Hoarders waiting to happen. It's
even the mouse made a mess.
We're going to get a video of you, and you're going to sound like that 1980s commercial. Help! I've fallen and I can't get up because all these boxes have fallen on me.
I've bloodied my shin trying to walk out from behind where I sit when I do these videos and where I work. But the reason why all these effing boxes are here was about 10 years ago. My sister decided that a friend of hers was getting rid of this hide-a-bed. And she thought, oh, one of my daughters will want that. But I don't have room for it in my gigantic house. So, Eric, will you put it in the much smaller house that you bought from me? Sure, I said. Well, that albatross has been, and now it's like too heavy to move. So it's been sitting there for 10 years. That's where all these boxes would be, if that. I mean, this has been so long. My mom's been gone for 6 years. When we put it in the house, we stood it up so it wouldn't take up as much room. And she would just bitch at me for that. I said, Mom, you're never here. My sister said, you put it down. Nobody's ever going to take it. Well, what do you know? 10 years later, it's still sitting there.
Chainsaw it to death.
Yeah, that's the thought. No, I'm going to have one of those like, places, Brighton Center type places, just come pick it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why this place looks like a bomb went off in it.
It's a weird situation. It's like on one hand, yeah, you need to do something about it. On the other hand, you got a lot of comics, dude.
I'm just gonna say this, Eric. If you actually put effort into putting more videos, you'd surpass Angleton.
I think you can do unboxing videos every day. If you're cleaning up, seriously, if you're cleaning up your area, okay, let's see what I found in this. I bought this so-and-so year, whatever your setup is, then just show off what's in that box. I think you can be a haul video channel
now
very easily.
What people don't realize is that Eric's actually trying to compete with Gratu.
I think he could. No. I think he could. Because here's the reason why. Let me tell you, this is your niche. Gratu goes Golden Age. A lot of people don't know the Golden Age. You've got silver, you've got bronze, you've got the 80s. You can deconstruction get that niche. Okay, they're talking about deconstruction in the chat. Deconstructionism has become a poison, and I absolutely believe this. I truly believe it, because especially with DC Comics, I talked about how they've been deconstructing the DC universe since 2011. The problem with that is they now have no characters. Who is Batman? We know who Batman is because we cling on to post-crisis Batman, who had a defined character.
Isn't Batman that guy that's dating Anton?
Right. But since 2011, they've deconstructed him. They've deconstructed Aquaman. They've changed Superman. They've done everybody to the point where they have no characters anymore. They're done. I think DC is so much worse than Marvel, because at least Marvel has bad characters.
Here's a question though, and let's be honest, the people who actually are reading still new comic books, at this point, do you really care if they make someone gay anymore? Because all it means is you can stop buying books for $4 or $5. You can buy them for $1 and read the actually better issues back in the day. I from Silver Age going through up until modern age, I can just read as far as comic books.
I think at this point, it's not, do you even care anymore? It's gone past the point of even being a parody. I think at this point, it's just because I've been saying for years that they're trying to purge the old audience and bring in a new one. At this point, even if you are, I don't care how pro-gay you are, at some point, even you have to look at this and go, this is pandering. But if you're a newer reader and you don't necessarily care so much, you just go, well, here's another one. But if somebody's been around forever, like me, just says, this is ridiculous. I said, I'm old enough to remember when comics actually told stories, and I leave. Well, that's a win for them, and that's how they look at it.
I think so too. I think if you take your money out of the bin, you don't have a voice to them anymore. At this point, as well.
For Superman fans, you guys were pissed off what happened to Bendis, and now they're not even focusing on Clark anymore. They're just focusing on what is this, the Authority? What's going on in the Action Comics, which is like start off as a Tom King or Tom Taylor story. Superman and the Authority.
They put Superman on the back burner to not draw attention away from what they were doing with his son.
So all that means right now is that for those who are actually fans of Superman, like I am, you don't have to buy this new stuff. You can just go buy the original stuff and reread that. and actually get more bang for your buck instead of getting banged. And
let's see what we got going on. I have to say about European comics and here Latin America, we have a bunch of things going special. And fantasy comics sells a lot. We prefer fantasy, don't know why. Everybody's got their different things. I read a couple. Like somebody commissioned a video for something called Echo. I kind of like that. That was European fantasy. I liked that marsupial book that I was commissioned to do. There's a couple of good fantasy. There's a couple good European things out there. The X-Men are ruined thanks to Brian Michael Bendis.
It started before Bendis.
Yeah, wasn't it the whole Hickman thing that kind of ran everything off the freaking road?
Hickman was after Bendis.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'd say
your mileage may vary on this. A lot of people kind of got fed up
Claremont
when they went out to San Francisco.
Oh,
when Brubaker turned it over to Fraction. I kind of liked it because it was integrated into the Marvel universe, and it kind of fit the story they were telling at the time. But as I've said, when I defend stuff like Civil War, it needed to have an end date, and for a year it did. Then they went and started recycling all the ideas that should never have been done twice. X-Men kind of fell into that same category. And then when All New, All Different took off, and they did the X-Men team with all women, and the way they were promoting it was being proud that they covered all the girls from head to toe and said, "Take that, male gaze." That was kind of the beginning. And you knew it was going downhill from there, and big shock. Well, I don't know if it went downhill from them because they haven't existed for those 10 years. But,
Breen, what you just said to me is an all-women team, and they're still called the X-Men.
Yeah, that's funny how that worked, wasn't it? Now they wouldn't even be able to do that.
Well, now they're the mutants. MK is saying between the comics and the shows now seems someone is always pushing something, be it LGBTQ or feminist crap, etc. But there are good books, just harder to find nowadays, in my opinion. It would be nice, I think. Just I agree. Look, having a gay character is not bad. Even having a feminist character could not be bad. It's possible to do that. Wonder Woman for a long time was a feminist icon who had adventures that had nothing to do with her running up and going, "I am woman, hear me roar."
That's the difference.
And that is the big difference. Put the story before the message. Bury the message within the story, and people will get it.
When was the last time
horrible artists and writers?
When was the last time I interrupted you. I said, when was the last time a gay character appeared in a book where we weren't told they were gay?
Did you know Supergirl's sister was gay in the TV show?
That's just an unsubstantiated rumor that was unsubstantiated every week.
There's no truth to that.
No, it's just, and that's the thing. I said, like when someone comes in and the character stand next to another girl and says, "This is so and so. Her pronouns are." What the absolute F does that have to do with telling an adventure story? It doesn't, because I said these writers now, you're not allowed to escape from the real world in your entertainment. It has to reinforce your political opinions, and that's something that my friends on the left side of comic book Twitter just don't understand, because they agree with it, they're fine with it. But whereas we read comics for 40 years that didn't align with us politically, but it wasn't overt and it didn't beat us over the head and tell us we sucked. Now it does.
Tomorrow I'm continuing the videos from the ZACK and the conversation with ZACK. Tomorrow will be I don't even know how to title it. If you guys can help me out with that.
I got a title for you.
Well, let me tell you the topic and then tell me the title. But I talk about it's the section where we talk about what Brian Hill, what's his name? I think that's it. What he said about Republicans, about how we don't like the CIA, we don't like the FBI, but boy, oh, howdy, do we support the KKK. And I talk about that, and it kind of goes off into comic book politics and how that it's basically how we're seen. And one thing that I offered for him to come on the show, and he's welcome anytime. I would prefer to talk about comics. But I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought in that as well. But it's something to me how they always use the excuse of, well, there's always been politics in comics. And I think part of their problem also is their inability to see that they do anything wrong. I know for a fact that politics have been around for a long, long time. They'll tell you politics have been in comics since Captain America punched Hitler. And that's bullshit. Comic books have been, or politics have been in comic books ever since Brandy Oldbuck, didn't want to fight in a war. That was in the mid 1800s. That's when politics were in comics. And from there, you have Outcult with his Hogan's Alley, very famously introduces the Yellow Kid. I know a lot of you know who that is. And that talked about the difference between the rich and the poor, the politics that put them there, so forth and so on. And it's fun and it's funny. So politics have been around forever and a day. They're almost synonymous. They go with and they go without. Point being is that stories were told first. And unfortunately, comic book writers, comic book artists, nowadays, when we say that they're doing things wrong or they're putting too much politics into the comics, they always use that as an excuse. And never once have I heard anybody question themselves as, well, if you know the politics have been in comics, then what the hell am I doing wrong? They will not even entertain the fact that they might be doing politics wrong in comic books. If you are alienating half of your audience, you're doing it wrong. And Brian, if you are listening to this, please take those words seriously. If your politics that you write into your books are alienating half of your audience, don't go, yay, I lost half of my audience, I'll just build it back with all these. It's wrong. Marvel, DC, they're going to call me an istanism because I actually said there's always been politics in comics and you're doing it wrong. But individuals can actually listen.
Your book shouldn't be about politics. Your book should be actually an actual story. But if you make the book
politics in them.
No, but if your main focus is the politics, what's going on as far as Build the Wall or Orange Man Bad, it becomes a pamphlet.
Well, yeah, what you do is you would write a story in which maybe you have two warring factions and somebody tries to build a wall, and it's pointed out how building that wall is inciting or inflaming the war, making it worse because people are now feeling otherized or so forth and so on. So while but you make the story about the conflict itself, and the wall is just a symbol within it.
Yeah. Like the worst example example that I did not like was, and a lot of people can agree, is the 12-issue series by Greg Rucka, the Lois Lane thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everything, there was nothing in there that was actually like a story. It was just basically based on current events. It was going on, and they kind of tied in a little bit with what's going on with Clark. Bendis was doing the Superman. But other than that, it's like, oh, we're gonna mention we're gonna trigger people who are either Trump supporters or conservatives or people who just don't want anything as far as in your face politics in your book. And then the gross part is that, we're gonna put Lois Lane getting all hot and bothered, thinking that's her husband in the shower. It turns out to be John, and she's in her knickers, getting ready to jump in the shower.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Actually, where was I? Oh, here he goes. Here it goes. One for Eric. Are you guys excited about the JSA coming back?
No.
Not even a little bit. You know what? Had it been done right after Venditti's run on Hawkman, or had it been done during the Rebirth years, I would have been excited.
Yeah.
Because that was back when they knew DC heroes. Bendis coming all over DC, I think that destroyed everything.
I think Jeff Johns will
It was the doorway anyway.
I think he'll do okay with it. I think, I don't think we're going to get the. I don't know how heavy-handed editorial is going to be, because if editorial gets involved, such as it is at DC, how much of Alan Scott's retcon sexuality will be, a factor in the book. And I don't know that anybody's needs to be a part of a JSA book that should be about adventure. But I also don't trust DC to be able to help themselves. Now, if they give Jeff Johns free reign, then if he chooses to do it, it'll be done well. But there's so much. There's nothing I can get excited about at either one of the companies now. My interest in World's Finest has even waned, because there's just there's just too much. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Because I want to segue over. I guess you guys probably already talked about that. When I see a headline today that, Reed Richards has a sister now, and of course she's smarter than him.
There's nothing in those pages now. There may be something in the book, but there's nothing in those pages to suggest that. Opinionated Junkie, thank you very much for the $2 super chat, saying X-Men versus Avengers was the beginning of the end.
Which one?
2012.
I know. I'm just messing.
So, okay, Eric, is that the beginning of the end of Marvel, and what is the beginning of the end of DC, do you think?
I think that Marvel was already starting to crack during Fear itself. And this event, where it wasn't nearly as good as the 4 or 5 that had preceded it. I just thought, when I saw an Avengers versus X-Men, and the cover was The Thing versus Namor, I thought, wow, we really have lost the plot here. Because unless it's like, okay, who's on which team? But then I think now, 10 years later, God, if that was the biggest thing I had to bitch about, at least that was just a bad comic book story. But it's gotten so much worse. That, I mean, if you just liked action, that series gave you all you could eat. But it's just, like I said, that's it's Tolstoy compared to the events they try to do now. But to me, that was where I fell off.
Okay, how about DC? What was the nail in the coffin, do you think, for DC, or has that nail actually been driven yet?
Oh, absolutely. It should have been. Was it November 2011 with the New 52?
Mm-hmm.
But they course corrected with Rebirth. But then when you opened up that 2-page, and where once upon a time that said the King is coming, and this time it said Bendis is coming, we didn't know it yet, but that was the beginning of the end, because it wasn't all him, but that also coincided right around the time that your girl said she was going to queer up as many characters as she could. And again, if that's the only thing you bring to the table, why should we care? I mean, why should anybody other than a non-binary trans queer activist want to read that, if that's the audience they're going for? If that's truly all you want to convey with your storytelling. So, you get what you Vita Ayala and Bendis, just how much it has changed in just those 3 or 4 years. And then again, like when you let John Ridley come in and dump on the entire Justice League to prop up one character. And so those kind of things. Those kind of things, and it's and again, I'm sure I'm going to get called an ist and a phobe for this, but screw it. I said I know who I am, and I said I'm not gonna. I have no desire to. The characters, no character is even a reasonable facsimile of what they were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. even the ones that are still written well, they're just everything is it's a completely different landscape.
Yeah. So I remember I did a live stream that was asking a question. I'm going to get some comments as well in just a moment here. Just give me a moment. We did a live stream, or did I do it as a video? Where I was talking about, are we just too old? I mean, obviously, I hit 52, so I'm no longer relevant to, what is it? It's 18 to 52 or something like that as far as the male crowd is concerned. So I've got maybe one more year of relevancy, or am I already out of relevancy?
You know what?
So they don't give a shit. But point being is are these actually good stories, and we're just mad at the fact that they're not the old stories, or are these actually bad stories? And this is the question I asked. Obviously, I really know the answer. Yes, these are bad stories, because a lot of the people in the chat are not 52 years old.
I wish I was.
I would, you know, how I would answer that is the fact that you guys read everything before this, so you like what came before this, so you have all that knowledge. People going into the hobby now don't have that knowledge.
Oh, I got railroaded when it was all OGCG. I actually said that. I said, we lost this battle. Not the war. I think we could win the war had everybody actually focused on winning the war.
I don't
but,
think...
hold on, let me finish. But point being is that what I said was going to happen happened. That actually does happen a lot. I mentioned how what's going to happen is there's going to be a new class of reader. They're going to wait us out, and we're going to drop off. We're going to lose interest. We're going to bow out. And the only people left talking to Marvel and talking to DC are the people who grew up on this shit. Now, All New, All Different started in 2013. So if you figure your average comic book reader starts around 12 or 13 years old, these are 23, 24-year-olds now. They know no better. Their Ms. Marvel has always been Kamala Khan. Their Captain America started off being the Falcon. They came up in that comic book world not knowing really what good comics were. And they were encouraged to pick up trade paperbacks of the series that they just bought the comic book issues of, rather than go see the special story like Korvac Saga or something along those lines. So they've been living in a bubble of nothing but what we would call SJW and then woke comics. It's happened. We've lost the battle. So how do we win the war? That's the big question here.
You don't.
I was trying to say before is that I grew up not reading comic books, not until I was 20. Mm-hmm. And then I even then I was reading what was coming out in 2007 and going onwards. So, and I never had, as I was younger, I had no interest in reading over 1,000 or 3,000, 4,000 pages of comic books to try and catch up. To me, I was like, well, I'll just read the new stuff because I'm liking this, you know, it is. Now, as I'm older, I'm going back and I'm actually reading some of the older stuff. I was like, wow, I should have done this 20 years ago.
Would you have ever done that if you hadn't met us reprobates?
I probably wouldn't be in the I wouldn't be reading comic books. I probably would have dipped out right as one more day. I would have, because that's when I found you guys.
But that was one more day was years in the rearview mirror before that. But as far as like, if it wasn't for us, you might not be reading now. No, do you want your welcome or an apology?
From who?
Me.
Well, I mean, like, do I want an apology from DC or do I apologies from...
Let me get a couple of these because I'm way behind. But Rhaegar is saying about the Brian Hill thing. That's hilarious because just from that statement, you know, this guy doesn't read history. The Klan is a Democrat convention and no mainstream Republican supported them. And that is true, by the way. And I do not believe in the Great Switch because only one person switched. And that was after they found Jesus and realized they were doing wrong, by the way. Let's see. Unless Brian Hill could prove that the KKK are a government organization, he has no grounds to his claim. Politics were in comic strips since the Yellow Kid, since before the Yellow Kid. Let's see. What boils down to it is you wanted to have an honest discourse with Mr. Hill. Yes, and he has said that after he's done writing, he's doing a Black Panther comic. He'll jump on, and the door is always open. And when he does come in, I want it to be incredibly respectful. And in all honesty, want it to be about comics. I don't really want to bring up politics, especially real world politics.
He doesn't put it in his stuff. He did American Carnage.
Yeah,
that was the one Vertigo book in that go round that wasn't an insult to comics.
I'm so far back. Yeah, I know it was all right. He did the Outsiders run, which aside from 2 issues, I think was excellent all the way through. But he did 2 issues. Was basically it ended up being the same story with 2 different groups, where they were getting ready for this big battle, and it was talking about the tension that was being felt by 2 groups. But unfortunately, the information in the first part of the story and the information given on the second part of the story was really the same. I mean, the characterization was there, but the story never moved forward, so it felt like a little bit of a drag. Had he kind of had something to build up the tension, it would have been perfect, a perfect run. Let's see. Sorry about having to pass up some of these guys. I'm way behind. But let me go past. Here you go. Captain America in '88 fighting a eco terrorist trying to burn an officer. It's never told today. It was really good to see Steve say you can't hurt innocents for a cause. Now you can, unfortunately. Wolverine was an Avenger. That was a really bad thing. Wolverine is an X-Men, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I know some people like the new Avengers. I did not like that lineup at all.
Change Marvel after Shooter left, and this rewrite it.
It's not Trump derangement syndrome. It's truth derangement syndrome, because the truth always hurts. Comics media and comics journalists need to die. I don't know if the journalists need to die, but how they run the mediums for so many fans. The damage started first under Tom King. Bendis was the follow-up, says to Hillim. Naomi was the end of the DC comic universe. Opinionated, they're all naming off all their young ages. Opinionated Junkies 31, Dominics 25, Cartoon Comics 29. We're a couple old men.
I mean, I'm 37 now, but like I said, I started in 2006 maybe is when I actually sat down as I got that collection and read all the Spider-Mans. Well, and that I stuck with one character, and instead, and I after it was at Siege, I jumped out. I was done with Marvel. That's probably, I think that's right. Was it all new, all different, all that crap? Originals, and I mean, was it whatever was going on? But I didn't come back until 2018, and I said the way I found you was looking up, see what people are saying about one bad day, because I never really talked to anybody about that before. I was wondering, like, am I the only one that thought this was shit? Because I see comic books are still going, but yeah, that's how I came across you, through a recommendation.
I appreciate it. Fun times have been had. MK saying, I'm 39, next year I'll be 40. It's quite depressing. Eric goes, oh, hello, 52, my old friend. And I would do the same thing with 40. It's the same.
That's what I do with 25 and 31.
That's what I think. When I'm trying to lose weight here, I remember when I was getting fatter and I hit 200, I was like, oh God, I can't believe I'm 200 pounds. And now I would be like, just that. Hello, 200, my old friend. We're looking good. Let's see. But I agree. I think Bendis coming in was the catalyst. I think DC Comics could even survive the wedding or the non-wedding between Bruce and Catwoman. It was Bendis coming into everything, the aging up of John Kent, that opened the door, and he brought a whole bunch of crappy friends over, and it just destroyed DC one by one. And now, I don't know.
What you can't say about Bendis is that his problem is he just tells bad comic book stories. But and that I can almost forgive. But he brought friends of his that were absolutely agenda first, and DC allowed it. So in that regard, there's no greater single destructive force unleashed on DC than Bendis.
Oh, by the way, also, I was just closing up some windows because I noticed there was a little bit where my sound wasn't looking. And I saw a comment on that whole gay Spider-Man, gay crippled Spider-Man. Somebody said, well, how are they controlling the legs? Wouldn't if they're swinging, they would just be flopping all over the place? Yes, that is true. So,
as I said, is she faking?
Look, I have a friend. She's blind. Her name's Michelle. Beautiful girl. And she didn't wear sunglasses. So you could see what happens to a blind person's eye when they can't use them. Sometimes one would be up, one would be looking here, one would be looking over there. It's just weird. It would be the same with the legs. This is not something, by the way, that anybody ever made fun of. We never talked about it. I mean, she was a pretty girl, beautiful personality, and yeah, just lovely. I was her guide dog. Like whenever the group, it was when I worked at the Alfred Hitchcock attraction at Universal, and whenever the group would go out, she was always on my arm. I was like, okay, Curb, going, leading her on. As a matter of fact, she had a crush on another guy and said, no, don't lead me. I want him to lead me. And he was just running her into poles and everything. It was really, really fun. But that would actually happen. If that person's swinging around, it would be just like the eyes. It would be just all over the place. And yeah, I think in real life, maybe you wouldn't say something, but in comic book, if you had to draw one leg almost up to her freaking head over here and one out, yeah, that would look too funny to make it realistic. Let's see. Bendis should have been thrown directly into Elseworld storytelling. That would have been better for him. Hey, Tim, what's up? The Bunderdome is here. Rawhide Breen. Hey.
He misspelled hey.
All right.
It's an E, Tim.
Hi. What's up? Okay, I got this shared out as well, so I figure what the heck. I don't have anything to say about this, but LK was kind enough to share it. So let me see. There is, in fact, a manga you may want to look at. It's called Breasts Are My Favorite Thing. Apparently, they're on volume 6. Let's see. The Skull Culture Festival is bounty of heart-pounding moments for Hannah, and she can't help but wonder if Shaike is starting to like her for more than her bountiful chest. However, their time together is interrupted as Akira catches the two in a compromising situation. I have nothing to say beyond this. Thank you for sharing it, LK, that the fact that we know it's out there. Any comments, guys?
It just means that LK likes breasts. That's all. He's reading.
Well, I think we all do.
I
would assume
no shame in that.
I would assume this is a. It's kind of like the story of a rich man trying to find a girl who would love him for more than just his money.
Now, see,
in this case, we've got a girl that wants a guy. The face is up here. You get to know this part. Maybe you'll get to know this part. Maybe that's.
Is this written by a guy or a girl?
I can't tell. Okay, it's
the right side. Just say
Wakami Kanbu.
This makes me think of there was this telenovela, I think they're called in Mexico.
Yeah,
and there was this one, and it had this real fancy title, but the translation was "Without breasts, there is no paradise." That was the name of the show.
Well, there you go. I got it. Okay, Wakami. It's Wakami Kambu. Hey Tim, you look Japanese. What is that? I'm just
help us out, Ron.
We're told it's a guy, but
it's a guy with boobs.
Well, no, the writer.
Well, what are you complaining?
The writer.
Oh, the writer's a guy. Okay. See, there you go.
Right. He just totally ignored that.
I know.
All right.
But I mean, manga is they really don't censor much. They kind of have freedom to write what they want to write. Now, if you're Chinese manga, heavily censored. Japanese,
what? The Chinese
Yeah.
censoring things?
I know,
Gee.
right?
When they
But
turn
don't-
on the internet again, I'll ask my friends about it.
Which is so funny because, like, you think that we're like, what's going on with Biden? You think like, Disney, you want to make movies like, you know, with Mulan and stuff? Well, you need to get rid of the gays in your comic books.
Or on the movie poster.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, like, there. All this proves to me is that there are places to go. If you don't like what you're buying, there's always an option. Yeah.
Opinionated junkie saying there is some manga I stay away from. MK, oh, Cool Dragon. Okay, I got you. All right, they're talking about age. With manga, make sure the characters sexualized are of age. Really?
There was, now see, I wasn't sure if you were going to talk about this. There was another article from yesterday that he talked about. It's basically Green Lantern's Pacific Rim.
Oh, wait, yes, I did want to talk about that. I can't. That's in our DM.
Yeah, it's Sports Ball comic book.
Okay, I'm gonna find it because oh my gosh, they turned freaking Jon Stewart into a lesbian.
Well, a gangbanger.
and an underage wanted that.
Yeah, they de-age him now. He looks like he's from, like, you know, Harlem, you know, in the 90s. But he also, they demasculinize him too. He looks so effeminate compared to John. You know how he looks.
Hold on, just a second here. Yeah,
he must be going to Tim Drake's plastic surgeon.
Holy crap! It's exactly the look.
He's got Hal's jacket too.
Anytime they turn a character gay, they give him this look, and it's ridiculous. I saw that. I was like, "You got to be kidding me! This cannot be real."
At first I saw him wearing Hal Jordan's jacket. Then I realized, oh, it's Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Wow. Are they really doing Pacific Rim with their Green Lanterns? I'm not surprised.
Okay, let me see. I'm not seeing it. Here we go. Okay, let me share out the image for those of you who might not have seen it, but I'm telling you, they turned Jon Stewart into a lesbian, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, right there, guys. Right there. How in hell is that Jon Stewart? They gave him the freaking Ken doll. Also, gang.
Is there more pictures in the comment section? I thought there was.
I don't know.
No.
We might find it. Hold on, I'll scroll down on it. But let's see.
While you're scrolling, I said opinionated junkie.
There it is.
Absolutely right.
That's what I was.
Yeah. So apparently, like Venkman said, it's Pacific Rim. So both of them are wearing the bomber jacket. Both of them look like I said, they've been turned into lesbians.
But wow,
more so Jon Stewart though than Hal.
John's got the narrow waist.
Yeah, he's got hips. He's got lady hips.
The hair, Sal. Wow,
the one earring, the whole 9 yards. This guy right here, yeah, he plays softball.
Okay,
is that Virgil Hawkins? It's a Green Lantern.
I'm just wondering if there's a picture of JoJo Mullins that now looks like Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I guess. I'm saying that's their DC mech run. Does Marvel has their own mech strike? DC's going to do their own with the Green Lanterns, I guess.
Yeah, but why can't guys look like guys?
Wow.
Does that not?
Well, you know the answer to that.
I know. I'm just.
I know, and people were in the comment section were saying, "Well, it's fine. What's your problem? Like, what do you mean to demasculinize them? You know, it's like, have you seen how ripped he was from was it John supposed to be in his 40s? He looks like looks like he could take on Batman.
Maranya saying not even a Ken doll. That's a woman's flat chest and broad shoulders for John. That's mid 210s Captain Marvel. You remember that one big picture? She looks like a freaking Aryan poster child.
Yep.
They're doing that, except for, like I said, Jon Stewart's a lesbian. Congratulations, DC. You're fucking up everybody.
The hairstyle really annoys that me too, because the hairstyle, I like him having what they have in the military cut.
Do you know what I never heard? And I'm serious. This is not me playing around. I have never heard anyone say they hated Jon Stewart.
No.
of all the characters, I've heard,
Yes.
I don't like Batman. They overuse him. Well, you know, Superman is too goody-goody. I have heard people say bad things about every character in the DC universe except Jon Stewart. The one person they should never have touched and changed into this.
Well, yeah, Green Lantern fans.
I guess this
hear John all
person
the time.
said, "Challenge accepted."
Yeah. Well, I can make you hate Jon Stewart.
Hold my smoothie.
First of all, we're going to turn him into a very womanly man, a very effeminate man. And then we're going to get mad when you don't call him a woman.
Yeah.
They are co-piloting the mech together. That's why they're in matching outfits. Holy shit, why does he look so young? What is up with the hair? I know, right? The hair's
Well, I have noticed that.
Hey, somebody else said it. Why have they redesigned him to look like a lesbian? SJW is find overly masculine black men threatening. You don't even have to put the masculine or the black into that. SJW is fine, not even overly masculine men threatening.
You don't even have to put masculine in that.
That's true.
I mean, John's from DC's done for the past 20 years, at least probably more than that. They've made John the actual perfect Green Lantern. Not in the woke sense as a Gary Stu, but he's one who has all his shit together. Hal is flip-flopping as far as he like, oh, do I love Carol or do I love being a Green Lantern? You know, he's just his love life is all messed up. Kyle is like, I've got all the rainbows in the world that I can control now. And wait, hold on. I want to bang Carol too.
I heard they made Jon Stewart a god of some sorts. Now
he became Ion, didn't he? Became like that
was Kyle.
No, but John had his own superpower, like Green Lantern.
Just recently
thing.
they did this. I haven't read it. In all honesty, and I said this last week too. In my confession is I haven't read a new comic book except for
John.
Batman the 8 in a long Batman the Night number 8 in a long time.
Have you noticed that everybody's getting younger looking now at DC though? It's not just Tim Drake, and I think that's again just part of trying to create an entire new readership. So it's almost like they're starting to slowly morph some of these characters into YA versions. Because that's kind of what I see when I see that Jon Stewart.
You know what's Vandal Savage now is? He's basically saying, "Kill me now, let me die."
In that picture, Jon Stewart is getting ready to go teach hot yoga. He's got a couple of these. Where's the other one? In that picture, Rhaegar says now he's going to go eat an Impossible Burger and do somebody's hair. I don't hate Jon Stewart as MK, but he's not my favorite Green Lantern. I like Kyle and Hal and Jessica more.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a Hal Jordan fan, but I liked Kyle Rayner during his run. I didn't like the fact that they brought Hal Jordan back. The art was good in that story, but
like you said, John always came out with more mask and more. Like, he basically could beat the shit out of Hal if he wanted to, but he was held back.
And they're going to write Jon Stewart as a pregnant man later. So
Kyle
also they're doing that with Deadpool. They're writing pregnant men into their comics.
Kyle's gonna be a flamboyant artist now. I guarantee it. He's gonna be a Tumblr artist.
Kyle's days as a straight man are definitely on the block.
Yeah, what are you saying? What'd they do?
Oh, it's DC.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that about Deadpool. Yeah, it's another example of failing your way to the top. Yeah, you saw who's writing the monthly, right?
No, who's writing the monthly?
Alyssa Wong.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's the Deadpool thing.
Yeah, I left a comment that said a man will get pregnant before Alyssa Wong writes a successful comic.
Yeah, too bad.
Pretty safe in saying that.
That's why they got rid of Guy, because Guy would have knocked him out.
Oh, goodness gracious. Who wants to hang out with Amber Heard? Yeah, she's hot, sure.
Apparently not even her girlfriend anymore.
Really?
She was abusive towards her girlfriend, too.
There's a shock.
right?
Well, let's move from one story to the other here, because this is something I don't know how I feel about this, in all honesty. One of the best superhero movies of the last 10 years. It's almost universal. Everybody who's seen it loves it. I have not once again, I have never heard anybody say anything bad about it. Was Logan. And I loved it. Thought it was an incredible film. Have you seen this one, Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good movie. At the end, of course, spoiler alert for the two people who haven't seen it, Wolverine dies.
And she calls herself Logan.
And now they're talking about bringing the mutants into the MCU. And some people are talking about the fact that if Wolverine is in it, it shouldn't be Logan. It should be, what is it, X-23. This is that story. Wolverine is one of the most iconic comic characters, and his status cannot be disputed. Naturally, when Hugh Jackman became Logan in the Fox films for almost 20 years, people had strong opinions about it. I thought it should have been Gary Sinise at the time. Gary Sinise is a more diminutive actor who can play tough guy. You watch Forrest Gump, you can kind of see that. But by the time Logan rolled around 2017, I think he had won most of them over. Now the MCU is calling the mutants home, and a Marvel Studios head, Kevin Feige, is playing close to the vest as to where the X-Men fit in. And this writer is Jeremy Conrad, probably male feminist, saying that he says, like most comic fans, I've been enamored with Logan and his entire story, my entire comic reading life. The idea that his story spans generations is endlessly fascinating, and when Hugh Jackman was cast, I was skeptical, to say the least. But as years, blah, 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 you already said this suffering that doesn't come across on the page all the time, that I respect Jackman and how protective of the character he became. Logan was such a good swan song. This is where we should leave Logan at peace. But what about Wolverine? Well, I think a fresh new start for the mutants in the MCU should also bring a fresh new start for the Cowl. I want Laura Kinney, aka X-23, to be the MCU version of Wolverine. She has a fresh backstory, and you could even have a Jackman cameo to tell her origin if you must. I wouldn't do that. Now, like I said, I'm iffy on this one because I like Logan. I think Logan is the perfect death for the character, but you're not doing this Logan. If they continue this story, let's see the story of Laura Kinney. But if they're not, why not bring Wolverine back onto the big screen? If they were doing the Logan verse, like if they were staying in the Logan universe, bring Laura Kinney in, let her be the Wolverine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think that Disney spent the resources to get the X-Men back and then not use their most popular character. Even though at this point to normies, it's probably Deadpool first, Wolverine second, but I can't see them going forward without Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd be shocked, but I think they actually might do this now. Now, if they're smart, Deadpool 3 is done by Disney, but they bring back Hugh Jackman. Actually comes back. I know he said he doesn't want to do the role again, but if he came back for Deadpool 3, they could at least get a tie-up where we get with Hugh Jackman. But as far as the other X-Men, they probably won't have a Wolverine in their X-Men. This could be before Wolverine.
I think they will.
Like first class.
I think even if they could get Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine in the third Deadpool movie, I don't know if Deadpool being part of the MCU is such a great idea anyway. They should probably leave him alone in that little universe they've created. And as far as like, well, you can't have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, have another Wolverine. Yeah, DC gets away with Batman.
Nope, you can.
Guy playing Batman every freaking movie, so yeah, you can. And that doesn't mean you can't explore Laura Kinney, but this idea that it's a fresh start. Okay, so why can't it be a fresh start for Wolverine too?
Exactly.
The guy basically refuted his own logic from one sentence to the next.
Casting call 2 should be also for these X-Men stuff. I want people who are just off the street. I don't want people who are from other movies. I want a lesser known person who actually looks the role. I want a 5'3" midget. You know, go find someone who's like Danny DeVito, like height and like actually has like a good physique. You know, or you do the Tom Cruise thing. Get someone who's 5'7", 5'9", and just shrink them around 6'3" people.
All righty. Okay, let me see. So yeah, I
no
kind
Tom
of
Hardy plays, so
no Tom Hardy. As far as Wolverine, I've seen the ones that I liked was what's his name from High School Musical?
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. I think he could probably do all right. And I don't know. Why not give Harry Potter another try? I want to see a diminutive Wolverine, by the way. I want to see a small-sized Wolverine.
At this point, I don't really care for live action. Just give me cartoons, because those you can just get someone that actually sounds like the character, and you can draw
Warwick Davis.
Yeah, Warwick Davis. You know, he should be in the next. He should be in their next your book, your Black Ops book.
He just run around. Where's me claws?
If they want to have a fresh start with Laura Kinney, give her own identity and name, and steal the and not steal the identity of someone else, I would love that.
Oh, didn't they say like, Eggsy from the Kingsman was supposed to be like rumored?
Oh yeah. He would do. I think he would do as well. Thank you, MK, for you hear the WB CEO wanting to bring back the Snyderverse. Thank you very much for the super chat, dude. I certainly appreciate it. Trying to make it to 100 and 130 because they take 30%, but we're up to I think 60, 70 now. Thank you very much for the super chat. I have heard about that. See it when I believe it. I do not believe, like right now, I do not believe in my lifetime I'm going to see a universe of DC Comics. God bless you. For those of you who are younger, when you're my age, maybe you'll see DC Comics brought to the big screen again. I don't buy it until I see the movie, and then afterwards, I may be questioning it. This guy fucked up a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people are like, "Yay, Batgirl's been canceled." Blah blah blah. Put your fucking characters out there for recognition at the very least. Right now, what's the plan? Nothing. I have no freaking faith in Warner Brothers.
So if they do keep the Snyderverse actors, but make everything more positive, brighter, if you Superman, make him like he is in every other freaking movie. Even in what was it, the Superman Returns, he was more brighter. Like, you don't have to make Superman dark when you already have Batman, who's supposed to be the darker character.
Yeah.
But I heard there was a recent rumor going around that Leslie Jones, or not Leslie Jones, but Grace. The one who played the one Leslie Grace, is that the one who played Batgirl?
Yeah,
she's going to be reprising Batgirl in another future movie.
I heard she turned it down.
Did she? Oh, I don't know. I just saw an article headline, so I didn't really read it though. So I mean, if she did turn it down, you know what? Cool. It means we can recast.
Well, I don't think she was I'm guessing she wasn't the problem because
they want a big blockbuster movie. That's what I heard. And then the one they were doing was nowhere near that. It was kind of like a CW level, probably.
Yeah. But I said, she's a very pretty girl, very talented. So I'm guessing she probably wasn't the problem.
Well, in all honesty, if you want to know something smart to do right now, if I were the, what's his name? Zaslav or whatever it is, the best thing he can do right now is finish that movie, put the special effects in, put it on HBO Max. The interest has never been higher for that movie. A film that has been dropped after spending $90 million on it, put it in theaters even. I think you've got yourself a hit. I think if they finish the freaking movie after all this, I've seen more than just me saying I didn't really care about the movie until they told me I couldn't see it. I'm not the only one that's saying this. There's a lot of people out there saying this.
I was gonna pirate it.
Yeah, they want to know what what is it about this movie. I think if he put it in the theaters, I think it would have made its money.
What I read about synopsis, basically, it was that she was basically doing what Barco does. Barbara Gordon creates her own costume, wants to go fight crime. Batman tells her no, this isn't a place for a kid. You're not trained. You're gonna hurt yourself and hurt other people. And at the end, he finally agrees to mentor her after she basically she proves herself that she can hold herself, that she's useful.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 5 scenes with Keaton kicking ass. Keaton as Batman. I don't care what you say about the costume. The fact you even got Keaton back in the costume is a victory for my eyes.
Yeah.
Now it's a different story if it was just gonna be like him mansplaining to her and she's like, how dare you say like that? Then that's a different take. But I didn't get that from what was leaked as far as a script, as far as what they want, the storyboard and stuff. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I just want to see Keaton in the costume again, acting as Batman, kicking ass.
Let's see. Cartoons and Comics says She-Hulk has made 1.7 million views on the first day. There's a rumor of a series on Heroes for Hiring. Fingers crossed. Heroes for Hire. Hawkeye, America Chavez, and Ms. Marvel for the female audiences. I liked Ms. Marvel. I thought it was a fun series. I liked America Chavez in the MCU a hell of a lot better than I liked her in the comics, except for, of course, that of which was given to us by Miss Gabby Rivera. The Hawkeye is one of the better TV shows and one of the better modern MCU things. And Heroes for Hire, bring back Power Man and Iron Fist. I'm all for it. Except for recast Iron Fist with somebody who actually cares to learn martial arts. Let's see. Have a way of getting the original X-Men in the MCU, make it fresh. They come back from years in space and look for replacements. I didn't even hear any of that Batgirl thing. Yeah, I just looked it up, and it is true. Let's see.
My issue.
Oh, my issue with Batgirl isn't her Orsi, but should have been done by Terry McGinnis, not Barbara. Oh, okay, per se.
If you want to do a Batgirl story, that's kind of cool. But if you're going to have an older Keaton Batman, Terry McGinnis. I want a young, or at least in this movie at the end, they should introduce a young Terry McGinnis somewhere.
I'll say this: opinionated junkies also putting Flash actor in trouble.
No, he's not. He apologized. He's good.
From all accounts, this movie's been trending very well. I got to tell you something. If it's a good movie, I don't give a. Honestly, I just don't. Oh my gosh! But Ezra Miller, I don't care. When he does it to me, I care. Look, I think he should be in jail just like everybody
Release
else.
the movie and let him go to jail.
I think he should be in jail just like everybody else, because if you assault someone, if you kidnap a child, you should be in prison. I agree with that.
You're grooming.
But I think this is where it comes from. I've been watching and enjoying Sean Penn movies now since the 80s when he first appeared in Bad Boys. And I've been enjoying Alec Baldwin movies since he first appeared in Beetlejuice. These are two of the worst freaking liberal mothers on the face of the planet who absolutely hate me without ever meeting me because I am a conservative. I've been following this. I've been following horrible, horrible people in movies forever and a day because that's all Hollywood has to offer us. And I don't mean that literally. Obviously, there are some good people in Hollywood. It's just, the thing is, I'm used to this. I'm used to the actors being bad people, but they put out good movies from occasion. When I go up to the box office and I lay down my $8 matinee or $10 for evening time price, I'm hiring them to entertain me. I'm not hiring them to be a good person outside of that movie. I just care that the movie I'm going to watch is good, or is it that's it. I do agree he should be arrested though, and after this one I would recast, which I hear they're going to do. But that's my take on the whole Ezra Miller thing. I honestly don't care. I care about the movie. I hate the fact that they took away Batgirl. Why? Because I want to be the one that says it's good or not. I don't want them to say it's good or not. And what if it was bad? But what if it was so bad it was entertaining? You know, what if it was Supergirl and not Catwoman? Supergirl's a horrible movie, but it is fun and entertaining. Superman 4, shit show. Fun and entertaining. he took away our opportunity to decide for ourselves what that movie might have been. And I'm sorry, but I can't jump on the bandwagon of saying, yay, it shows that we were right. No, you're not right. This is a whole different ball of fish here.
Hollywood's always been messed up. To say that you're right, well, guess what? There's people who lived here before you have been saying this crap way before you.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So it's like, but we are the ones that nailed it. No. Yeah, Ezra Miller, yes, should be held accountable for everything he's done. Don't give him special treatment. Screw that. Release the movie. If it does well, cool. You can just recast him though, because at this point, people are not going to like the actor. Remember Amber Heard? Remember, like, whoa, we don't like her, but yet they didn't cancel Aquaman.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to say this.
And I don't care if she's I don't consider her a minor character.
This is a guy. This is a guy thing.
Yeah.
I don't give a who you think you are, whatever. If she offered, you'd still bang her. You just wouldn't let her sleep because you don't want to wake up next to a present. she would have to leave afterwards. But no, I'm sorry. I'm calling you guys out if you tell me that you wouldn't that you wouldn't
without
enjoy time with Amber Heard.
Without prior knowledge, 10 years ago, whatever that fighter movie she was in, she was supposed to be the supporting girlfriend, that guy Never Back Down. I think she was in that one.
Fighting?
Never Back Down movie?
No,
she was the supportive girlfriend, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. But now that I know that
she was hot as Mirror too.
Yeah, true. But now they know that she shits the bed.
That's what I'm saying. She's got to go.
You know what I do? I would just put plastic down. Gosh,
that's it. Yeah, that's it. You wouldn't let her stay over, or you would take her to her house. But yeah, I'm sorry. She's still.
I don't want my bed smell like sex. I'd put plastic down. Put a tarp down. Jeez, animals.
All right. Hey, Skip and Tosh, how you doing? I didn't even like her before that, says Rhaegar. So I'm calling foul on this one. Look, I wouldn't get into a relationship with her if I was single. I wouldn't. Yeah, but you're not going to convince me she's an ugly woman. Ugly on the inside, for sure. She's proven that herself, but not a physically unappealing person.
Oh, she does nothing for me. Oh no, the virus. It's back.
My Paul is a yellow belly coward.
And that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Get my Switch.
Okay, so let's see.
Speaking of which, that guy died. The writer.
Which one?
Ron Zimmerman.
Yeah. Just recently died.
Oh.
Like last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Is Amber Heard still the crazy person now, or is she the new crazy person? Because remember, there's a lot of crazy celebrities. You guys were hating on the one that was in the Charmed series, the one that took over. The one that ended up shaving her head. Not
Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan, yeah. I mean, Alyssa Milano. What's your level of crazy here? Amber Heard? More crazy?
Now, once again, are we talking about relationship or are we talking about just the boning? Because just a boning is far more open than relationship.
Who's more likely to bite you?
Okay, the real idiot in all this is Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Because you've got more money than God. You can afford to fall for and marry a straight woman. I mean, he knew what he was getting into. Hell, she didn't even make any pretense about it. She's a lesbian.
You marry outside of business. That's what you do.
Yeah, maybe he thought he could, fix her, or maybe he wanted 3 ways and wasn't invited. But I said, you gotta get what you get what you pay for.
I'll tell you, Alyssa Milano, the Embrace of the Vampire Days, most definitely.
Ooh, MK is saying he likes Brie Larson more than Amber Heard now.
Brie Larson, once again, not an ugly woman, and she can act. She just wasn't right for Captain Marvel. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Captain Marvel has many lines of dialogue alluding to the fact that she was losing control and she never did. It's like, oh, I can't believe that's happening. I'm so angry now. You can't lose control like that, Captain Marvel. I'm like, when the fuck did she ever lose control?
You were
She
talking
never
about
did.
yeah, Alyssa Milano embraces the vampire. Rose McGowan at one point was so hot she even looked good with a peg leg.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
What there is a movie where she's naked like all of the time too. It's like Generation Lost or something like that.
He would know this.
I'd find my memory is playing.
Well, it works to his benefit if he pretends to not be able to recall it.
The older brother. It was a
too.
movie with the older brother from Independence Day. But yeah, she's like naked throughout the entire dang thing. Brie Larson, but once again, I think she can act. I think she's a pretty lady. I think
Planetary, yes, great movie.
Planetary.
Planet
Terror.
Terror. That's the movie. She was,
Planet Terror.
and
Yeah.
Nobody had a problem with Brie Larson in that Kong Skull Island movie.
Not even a little bit.
Except for Kong.
Though I don't like what she said, and I think it's a stupid thing. And it was just, but at this point, she's just one more voice of a lot of people who have been saying that same thing now.
Again, it's part of that what I call confrontational marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an example of when that works, and it didn't work here either. She was sandwiched in between two blockbusters. She couldn't even talk that movie under $1 billion. Yeah, I said that whole idea of throwing pretending to be not wanting part of the fan base. Yeah, it certainly doesn't work in comics. Yeah, I don't see how it helps, live action properties.
Yeah. Kat Dennings equals new Rose McGowan. I don't know what to think of that girl sometimes. I mean, she's not a great actress.
What, has she done something wacky lately, or
I don't know. Opinionated Junkie says Kat Dennings equals new Rose McGowan. Look, I understand there's a huge appeal with Kat Dennings. I get it, but I don't think she's a great actress. She's pretty, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay. Anyway,
wasn't she in that horrible CBS sitcom?
Yeah, the Two Broke Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I tried to watch it. I was like, oh, okay, it's famous. I guess it must be funny. I watched it.
It was all right. There's certain
garbage. Sucked. Emma Stone is the new Rose McGowan. The only reason why Captain Marvel hit the $1 billion mark was because it was advertised as a need-to-see movie between Infinity. I agree with that.
Yeah. Now I heard rumors that there's empty theaters that are being bought out by Marvel.
Oh yeah, Marvel bought out all the empty theaters.
But I promise you, if there's a Captain Marvel 2, if that ever happens, they're not going to let her go out there and say that same shit.
Well, there it is. It's called Marvels, right?
I'll tell you what. Next time I go to see a very, very popular film, I'll show up in a half an hour, 40 minutes beforehand. I'll take a picture of the empty theater, and we can all talk about how, oh my gosh, Marvel bought out all these tickets. Yeah. I'm not saying that happened, but I'm kind of saying it did. Let's see. Kat Dennings is so hot, no man can deny her. Oh goodness, I've got to look up who that works for me. Let's see. What is her name? And she was in the TV show Christina Hendricks. Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who is ample and just absolutely gorgeous.
She blew up from after Firefly. She just blew up.
Well, I know. I think she was that big during Firefly.
I don't think so.
Who's that?
Christina Hendricks.
She always had the big boobs. What do you mean she blew up?
Was she in Firefly?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she played a rival whore.
Look up.
This is actually her in Firefly. Because Christina Hendricks, yeah, she's got the goods.
Well, she's great in Mad Men.
She is very pretty. Yep. But there you go. That's that is the young lady who does
comics. Kat Dennings has an F cup, so who cares about acting?
Oh, when was Firefly the series?
That was
2003
2000 around there. Yeah,
right
the
around
early
the, somewhere
2000s.
early. Yeah.
Okay, so that was before Mad Men then.
Yeah, before Mad Men, yeah.
Okay.
Because it only lasted for like what,
a
10
year.
episodes?
MK, you didn't feel that Kate Beckinsale was hot.
He knew she was
hot. There are certain things that sound like opinions, but they're not opinions. Kate Beckinsale is hot is not an opinion. It is a fact.
Venkman will back me up. Said Jerry Ryan back in the good Star Trek days.
Ooh, wow,
she looked good in the old Bosch days too.
7 and 9. I do it from 7 till 9.
Oh,
jeez.
Maybe when I was younger. Now, what show is on in 2 hours?
Because she's a former Borg. I don't care. If you have a problem with her being,
Uma Thurman would have made a great Catwoman. Uma Thurman is what I call a left eye, right eye. It's like, oh, she's hot. Ooh. Oh, great. Ooh. You know, it's like you look at her one way, she's good looking. You look at her another way, not quite so much.
Just like people who said, like, oh, I hate Pamela Anderson. No, you didn't. You know, that's why you watch Baywatch. Anybody says they didn't watch Baywatch back in the day.
It depends on when you first
you're probably like, we're probably 12 and under. But even if you're 12, man, you're kind of like, that's my awakening right there when she's still motion running.
If you see Pamela Anderson in the 90s, yeah, she's hot. There's just no getting around that. But Pamela Anderson in the 2000, definitely 2010s, after she's had all the freaking work done, yeah, not so much.
Right.
Didn't they do a Serenity movie too? Yes, that was awesome, by the way.
I just saw it's a new anniversary edition for like Mimic.
Oh, the
Forrest Whitaker,
Servino,
Servino
movie.
Yeah, Servino.
That was a good movie. My
Species was the other one.
Species was the Forrest Whitaker movie.
Not no. He was in Mimic with the giant cockroach.
Was he not in this?
I don't.
Okay.
Maybe he was in both. I don't know.
I thought he played like a psychic of some sorts in Species.
In Mimic, he was the guy that was helping out the doctors. He was a scientist, I think it was. I'm not sure.
Because I remember Alfred Molina was the main scientist. Then you had that Tom or whatever his name is, was in Saving Private Ryan. You had a couple. I thought, okay, anyway. Kind of unrelated to the conversation. Well, today's the day. I'm reading DC New Frontier right now and almost done. So for me, it seemed like a slow burn with political moralizing. But now that it's almost done, I'm liking the story. A lot of people do. That's actually one of my favorite animated films, too. I think they really did that very well. Natasha Henstridge, oh my God, so hot in Species. Yes, she was. And in Battlestar Galactica.
I like her in Ghost of Mars.
And well, she's hot in anything.
I know.
She's naked in Species, so yeah. Just speaking of Battlestar Galactica, yeah, it wouldn't surprise anybody that I like Grace Parks. Yeah.
If you're a young girl watching Species, it makes you kind of not want to have kids.
Mimic was Charles S. Dutton. Thank you, Smokey Collects. All righty. So anywho, I'm gonna we've been 2:18 now. So I'm going to call it a night here, also because I heard my family coming in. Thanks for hanging out with us. Do you have anything? Yeah, Pamela Anderson, she had screwed herself up with plastic surgery. What do you want to talk about? Tomorrow you're doing your
top 5.
Top 5 you're looking forward to?
Yep, top 5 books on a Geeky Puppet Show. And we followed up on Thursdays with the best of the week. And then a retrospective, Avengers number 4. Sorry, Frugal, you don't want to join us. Too bad. You're not allowed anymore.
Okay, I've got another covering comics coming out, but this time it's the first 30 years of Thor, and that's going to be over on the other channel. Yeah. Say again?
If you're going to say the name, you got to say it right.
Thor!
There you go.
And that's going to be out on Old Man Comics, and I might release it here as well. Might do both of them.
And don't forget, if you like your comics and your panelists old, check out the 4 Color Fossils Wednesday night.
There you go. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. And please leave a little hello, how you doing kind of comment or whatever you want to talk about after the video has been posted. As always, thank you very much for hanging out with us. And to all the true believers, thank you very, very much.